What's up guys, welcome back to another video. The trade yesterday was an absolute banger and I even kept you guys posted on Twitter. Ultimately, I posted the exact entry that I was going in and ultimately we hit a 3R and congratulations to everyone. And there are so many other comments of people making money, but overall that puts us up to 131 wins over the last 166 trades taken and called publicly here on YouTube. So if you're new to the channel, just understand that you're probably in the right place because we're right more often than we're wrong. And if you would like to just learn my full system, outside of the masterclass that just happened, feel free to check out Blueprint. It's the first link in the description box below. It's the first time I'm offering something like this, and this will be the last time. You get access to my full trading system for like 1/10 of the price compared to usual. And yeah, offer ends in 14 days. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that this system works. So if you're ready to take this seriously for yourself, click the link below, join Blueprint, and I'm looking forward to helping you. But otherwise, let's get into the intraday trade of the day. Starting things off with Bitcoin, we're still getting a bearish daily bias. Now, do keep in mind that the weekly bias is bullish, but that doesn't mean nothing much because at the end of the day, we're still going to just be trading intraday based on whatever the market tells us. So at least for today, the market is telling us that it's bearish. So we're going to be looking for a short side trade today. Now, the only thing that I would like you to keep in mind is that there is no news today. Just understand that even if everything checks out, just because we have no news, the kind of like overall probability of today is going to be a little bit lower. Ideally, if you can avoid trading today, it would even be better. But just so far, take a look. You have Japanese yen, euro, you have Australian dollar, but not USD. But tomorrow, we're going to get USD news. So same concepts applied on the news days is going to have a much higher success rate. But even if that's the case, we are still going to just be looking for trades because just because it's a non-news day doesn't mean that there is no trade. It just means that we need to adapt accordingly to a non-news day situation where potentially we're going to go half risk compared to usual. Potentially we want to look for more confirmations before we dive into the trade. And most importantly, we need to make sure that the timing aligns and yeah, everything's aligning. So specifically, now that we have our daily bias, let me just remove everything. A couple of key levels that we need to look for. The first one is going to be this bearish fair value gap over here on the 1 hourly chart that starts at 87,700. Not sure if it's going to get filled today. And secondly, let's take a look. If price happens to break below this level here at 86,200, by the time you watch this video, it means that this is going to become a new bearish order block where price is going to drop from. So just keep in mind that price does not need to come into this fair value gap. If it does, it's going to be added confluence. But if it doesn't, then you're just going to be paying attention to this level right here and just momentum trading this towards the downside. This is the exact same situation that we had yesterday. By the way, I'm going to take a couple minutes to break down the trade from yesterday so that you guys can learn a couple of things. But yesterday, we were anticipating price to sweep above the Asia high, but ultimately that didn't happen. And scenario 2 happened instead, where I was saying, once you get the CISD on the 5-minute chart, you're already good to go to just continue momentum trading this towards the downside. All you want to pay attention to is timing, because yesterday we had news at 10 a.m. I want you to take a look here. At exactly 9:35 a.m., you returned back into the CISD, and mind you, I had not executed a single trade yet up until this point. Now, some people were able to catch the London move. Congratulations. Those of you in the VIP, you know who you are. Some of you managed to catch the London move. Congratulations. But otherwise, at 9:35, you return back into the CISD. But most importantly, just because you come back into the CISD doesn't mean anything, because so far, if you just take a look at the order flow within this swing here, it's pretty bullish, right? You're forming high highs, high lows, and you're seeing bullish PD arrays being respected. You don't want to be going short into a bullish PD array. And if you remember yesterday, the call was short. So what ended up happening is exactly at 9:40 a.m. is when you get the first CISD, basically after hitting some sort of key level. And now that we were, about 10-15 minutes away from the news, I just made the call that this would be a good time to enter. I entered on the very next candle at 9:45. If you take a look at Twitter, this was posted at 9:49 a.m. 10:49 p.m. is like 9:49 a.m. for New York time. And going back into this, our TP was basically hit within like the next half an hour or so. And that's the beauty of the system that we're using. It doesn't require a lot of time, and the setup is usually very simple. It's very straightforward. You just need to wait until the point where all of the criteria are checked. You take it, and bam, you get a very easy trade. This is the exact thing that I broke down in the free masterclass lately. And to those of you that signed up to the masterclass, you should be getting an email today on, we're going to be sending the replay as well as the slides to you, later on. So make sure you check your email if you haven't. Hopefully that makes sense. And now let's get back into the trade for the day. So taking a look at the 1 hourly, again, we have a couple of key levels and both scenarios are valid. Either way, we're looking for a short scenario. So whether you go higher before you go down or you just go down straight away and we momentum trade this, both are valid. That's why you never hear me say that price needs to go into any area. It doesn't. Ultimately, we're just trading what the market's telling us, and the market starts dumping by the time you watch this video and you get a confirmed CISD on the 1 hourly chart. Bang, all power to it. Just momentum trade it. So now that we have a understanding on the 1 hourly chart, it's time to go into the 5-minute chart to kind of break this down even further. Now, so far, London has just been chopping around. And now that I am zooming down into the 5-minute chart, there is another potential here for another, kind of order block where price could potentially get rejected from. In fact, in the 5 minutes that I've been recording this video, this has already came into this order block and potentially you're going to go down later on. Just understand that by the time you watch this, if you get this, then it is already a valid trade. If not, you're probably going to sweep above this level, find support at, this value area here, basically flip the resistance into support, go up into the higher key level before you get a downward expansion. Anywhere between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. New York. Now, the reason why the timing is a bit more broad today, where yesterday I told you, all right, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., that's when you're going to want to look for the entry. It's because yesterday we had news, today we do not have news. So we just have to use the New York AM kill zone. In fact, right now, this is already a valid trade. So even to the ones that are, watching this video to learn and not necessarily to just follow along the trade call, this is already very much valid. But otherwise, let's start moving on to Ethereum. Taking a look at the daily buys, you are pretty bearish as well. Going down into the 1 hourly, this is when you start seeing that you have gotten rejected from this hourly PD array. And technically on the 1 hourly chart, you've already formed a CISD right there. Let's go down into lower time frame. Price is currently going back into the CISD where, potentially you may start going down from this one onwards. This is the newly formed 5-minute order block. Again, like by the time you watch this video, this is no longer going to be valid. So if price ends up breaking lower, just continue to momentum trade this. Use newly formed order blocks and fair value gaps to take advantage of this, and you're going to be all Gucci. Going back to Solana, you have a bearish daily bias as well because of yesterday's bearish daily close. If we take a look at the PD arrays that we have to take advantage of, well, there's that fair value gap from yesterday that hasn't gotten filled. One thing that is interesting though is the fact that you have a strong high because that high was swept there. And right now, you technically have a bearish order block. So even right now, you're already going to be looking for a short going to the downside because CISD has already occurred, very much like Ethereum. So yeah, the setup on Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin are all basically exactly the same for today. And as usual, I will be posting any live updates to Twitter. If you want to just live trade alongside with me, feel free to follow me on Twitter. And if you have seen any amount of success over the last 300 days that I've been making these daily videos, just understand that Blueprint is going to give you 10 times more because so far you've just been trying to navigate the markets without really knowing the full picture. Blueprint will give you the full picture. Plus, I'm going to be doing live trading in there. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. For 1/10 of the cost, you're going to make back the investment pretty quick. But hey, I'm not going to speak too much about it. I'll let some of the people that have already joined Blueprint speak their mind. The reason why I have so much conviction that Blueprint can help you is generally because I believe it. And I've put in countless hours to make this the best trading course that it can be. And so if you're done with just messing around with a bunch of single screens and trading courses that don't work, I've already kind of demonstrated my credibility across the last 300 days. You guys have all made money with just these YouTube trade calls. If you're ready to take it to the next level, join Blueprint and I'll see you inside. Ciao, ciao.